Hey folks, welcome. I've been getting things ready. I've had a bit of a trouble with my air traffic control program. We may have to do this flight without air traffic control. You can see it poking out of the screen there on the right. Here's the air traffic control. It's called Pilot to ATC. It's got a little connect button where it interfaces with the simulator. And that connect button should turn solid green when it's working. But it's not working, so I'll turn it off. Maybe I'll restart it and see if we can get it to fire up. I would like to use it. And I'll wait for the first one to completely close. And it looks like it has. We're at Hollywood Burbank Airport. This is a smaller airport meant for regional commuters, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a bit. Because we're in Southern California, it doesn't necessarily mean we need jet bridges. See if we can take a look around. Our aircraft is larger than most of these commuters. You can see the other Alaska and Delta commuters. Okay, here we go. We reloaded. See if we can connect. Still no connect function. Okay, well, we'll just minimize that for now. But we are the American Airlines Airbus among these smaller commuters. There's no jet bridges out here. Aircraft load by means of these ramps. We'll see what happens when we attempt to get some folks boarded. But this is KBUR Scenery, Hollywood Burbank Airport, and our flight is a rather short one off to Santa Barbara Airport, about a 20-minute flight. Got some transit buses waiting here at the entryway, nice parking garage, and the rest of Southern California. Let's exit this camera view and go to our external camera. There you can see. Let's see if we can spin that around a bit, get over to the boarding door. We're in an A320neo. And let's see if we can pop open that door. The door opens and see if there's any stairs available. Looks like no stairs. Okay, we're gonna have to simulate some stairs. But let's hop aboard the aircraft. Oh, looks like my virtual first officer has also arrived. So let's start the process, getting this flight underway to Santa Barbara.
Let's start setting up.
Okay.
She's going to do her thing. Here we are aboard, cold and dark. Bob Hope Airport looking at us there in the front. And there's our first officer. Oops. Kind of a jumpy camera there. She looks like she's very alert. Suffering some major frame rate degradation. But we'll see if we can work through it. We have external power, so let's use it. Battery 1. Battery 2. Self-test in process. I'm going to kick up some of these display lights so we can actually see a little of what's going on here. While we're here, let's arm the speed brakes, make sure the flaps are retracted, make sure the throttles are in the idle position, make sure the landing gear handle is down. We're going to set the auto brakes to maximum for rejected takeoff, in case we have to abort the takeoff. Get some of these other display brightnesses turned up here a bit. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Just a little bit outside that knob and it goes into zoom mode. Oops. Well, we've got a little brightness. It's a bit of a bright day. Turn up some of these other lights. Okay. Let's go to our electrical screen. Looks like we're getting 115 volts, 400 hertz from the external power, and it's being transformed into 28 volts, 25 amps over here, and 18 amps over here. Battery 1 and battery 2 are fine. Let's go back upstairs. Let's arm the emergency exits in case the crew needs to leave the aircraft in a hurry. They can find those exits. Turn on the no smoking sign. Turn on the seatbelt sign. Nav either 1 or 2. The systems are redundant. We'll turn the wing lights on and we'll leave the beacon off for now. Turn that strobe light off. And the landing gear lights off. We'll turn the inertia reference system, the IRS system, called ADIRS Nav 1. System 1 is on, System 2 to nav, and System 3 to nav. Let's do a fire test on the auxiliary power unit, the APU. That test is fine. Let's do a cargo smoke test. That test is fine. Let's turn the annunciator lights on to test. Let's test every bulb in the house. What we're looking for is burnt out bulbs, elements that aren't elementing. Right now, every LED, every bulb should be illuminated. Looking for any bulb that is not on. Okay, looks like we're doing pretty well. So, annunciator light test passes. And we'll leave the crew oxygen supply off for right now. We'll leave the fuel pumps off for right now. And upstairs looks pretty good. Let's do some flight planning. I'll go to the options menu. Miscellaneous. going to go to the AOC menu and then to the, okay, AOC menu. Oh, I'm still, yeah, I'm not exactly where I want to be. Okay, let's go to the ATSU menu. Then to the AOC menu. What I'm looking for is my data linked flight plan that I set up before the flight. I want to receive it by data link. So we'll go to the initialization page. And we'll initialization data request. This is what I want. Here we go. We are flight number 43. We're traveling from Burbank to Santa Barbara. Our fuel on board is 9.5. I'm sure we won't need that much. Estimated time en route, 28 minutes. Let's go to the next page. Block time is 56 minutes, fuel remaining 9.5, so we're not going to use much fuel at all. We're set up for an auto land if we need it, and then we can fill out the rest of this when we land. What the flight time actually was, who the landing pilot was, the times in, times out, that can all be filled out at the end of the flight. Let's go to a perform weight balance. Block fuel is 5098. So right now, if we look at our fuel, we are at, let's stop this from jerking around quite so much. I'm going to hit the fuel button. And our current fuel on board is 9520. We don't need that. We only need 5098. So I'm going to hit the load fuel button. And now our load on board is 5080, so we are in line with what we need. There's our taxi fuel, our trip fuel. We'll go to send our operational request. Let's go to the next page. Page 1 of 2, flip 2 of 2. Zero fuel weight, zero fuel center of gravity, 179 paying happy passengers. There's our breakdown of our payload and our bags, and by pushing the load button, we will load the aircraft with those parameters. Let's go to our flight plan page. We don't have a flight plan yet. Initialization request. Uplink in process. Burbank to Santa Barbara. Alternate is KLAX. Cost index is 28. I don't like that cost index. You folks who've flown with me before, you know that I like to be a little less efficient and a little more time efficient, you might say. Get us there a little quicker. And we're going to kick up our flight cost index to 85, which is a number which will be less efficient, burn a little more fuel, but get us there a little faster. Flight level 100 on the cruise, that's fine. Let's go to the next page. Zero fuel weight and center of gravity should already be calculated. There they are. We'll add those in. Block fuel, we already know our fuel is 5.1. Rounding up a little bit. We'll put that in the fuel block. And there's a breakdown of our fuel. Don't have any wind calculations in here. Our flight is so short, I'm not going to calculate the wind. Flight plan. We are departing from Burbank. Here's where I really wish I had some air traffic control to file.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Okay.
Okay, they're going to start boarding in the back. I don't have any air traffic control, so I'm going to just take off from whatever runway I want to take off from. How about, let's see, we're going to be flying roughly west. We'll make it simple on us and take runway 26. It's 1768 meters. That's plenty long enough. There are no SIDS or standard instrument departures, so we'll insert runway 26. And when we get to Santa Barbara, about our arrival, there are no arrivals available. Interesting. The database does not have any arrivals to Santa Barbara. Okay, well, we'll just have to land visually on whatever runway we see. Again, if I had air traffic control, I'm sure they would vector us, give us some vectors for a visual, but we'll have to make our own visual. Okay, let's get some housekeeping done on our main panel here. Flight directors on, constraints on. We're going to be flying at flight level 100, but let's have an initial climb to 5,000. That's okay. We don't have a transponder code because we don't have air traffic control, so we'll leave the transponder at 1200, which is the VFR code. Let's move the transponder to the auto position and to the TA traffic advisory position. Call out any traffic that might be in the area. We're going to hold off on the TARA, or the resolution position, until after we have pulled off from the gate. Also, I'm going to hold off on the progressive wind shear system until we're pulled away from the gate. Those two systems have emissions that can be harmful to ground personnel. So we are ready for a checklist. First officer, are you ready with the pre-flight checklist? Before start checklist. And let's get ourselves looking where we ought to be looking.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barrel ref.
2992. Set.
2992. Set. Down to the line.
Wonderful. Let's fire up the auxiliary power unit, or the APU. We've already done a fire test on the APU. Now we'll do a fire test on the engines. Engine 1 fire test. Engine 2 fire test. Turn on the fuel pumps. Turn on the crew oxygen supply. Turn on the master APU switch. And I'm going to go down here to the display and hit APU. And then I want to look for the flap open indication, which it right there. There it is. Which means I can go back and hit the APU start and the APU bleed. And the bleed will provide the bleed air, which will start the engines. Also, now that we have activity going on outside the aircraft, I want to turn the beacon on. warn people to be mindful of their surroundings. The APU's a little turbine engine tucked into the tail. Let's see if we can take a look at it. Might even hear it fire up. And APU available, which is exactly what we want to see. We can now go off of ground power. And we'll let the pushback folks know that we're almost ready.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Understood.
Let's say hi to the folks.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck. This is the captain speaking. On behalf of the entire flight crew and myself, I'd like to welcome you aboard today's flight. Our flight attendants are there for your comfort, but more importantly for your safety, so please give them a few minutes of your undivided attention while they go over the safety features of this aircraft. Once the boarding process is complete, we'll get the cabin door closed and push off the gate for an on-time departure. In the meantime, please sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Welcome aboard.
Probably don't have a whole lot of legs in our flight plan. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Burbank to Santa Barbara with no intermediary waypoints. Go into plan mode here. And just scroll through the waypoints. So there we are in Burbank. We're going to be flying due west. Oops. Oh. Can't seem to get it to step. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's flip this back over to the arc mode here. And we can take a look at our routing. This is from a previous flight from St. Cloud, Minnesota to Minneapolis. That was a real short one. But that's not what we want. Let's go to flights. New flight. Here we are. Burbank to Santa Barbara. This one actually does have some waypoints inside. The computer, strangely, did not choose any waypoints for our flight because it's so short. But this does have some waypoints on it. It, however, does not have a... It has a departure from runway 15. Again, we're going to choose 26 because it's in a westerly direction. And then it has runway 25 as a landing runway, which is good for us. That's landing to the west, and that's exactly what we would like to see. So that will certainly work out for us.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
We have the load sheet, so let's lock the cabin door.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartments. If you need assistance, contact a flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also, review the safety instruction card in your seat pocket. If you are seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
let's get that pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Understood. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back. All ground equipment is clear. You can start the engines at your discretion.
Let's light them up.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
Off.
Before start, checklist complete.
Starting engine 2.
This camera view is gonna get me. Let's start that engine. Okay, that's gonna be good enough. Starting engine 2. Oh, we're having a control issue. Just gonna go into controls here real fast. We're not getting the controls we need. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay. So starting engine 2.
Starting engine 1.
Starting engine 1.
The push is complete. Please set the brakes.
Parking brake set.
Understood. Okay, so the ground equipment is removed and the pin is out. Good engine
Once again,
starts
ladies and gentlemen,
from down
welcome
here,
on board.
and I see you on the right hand side with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight, and we'll see you later.
Safety information. There is an
Let's
instruction
do
card
a
in your
flight
seat
control
pocket
check.
that illustrates the safety equipment on this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs, and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle.
After start checklist.
Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your
Anti-ice.
seatbelt,
Set.
lift the metal
ECAM
flap
status.
on the buckle.
Check.
It is our
Pitch
policy
trim.
that you keep your seatbelt
26%
fastened at all
set.
times
Rudder
while
trim.
seated.
0.
After
Doors
start
are
checklist
clearly marked
complete.
with exit signs and
Flight control
instructions
check.
for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the exit nearest you. The nearest
Full
exit
down.
may be behind you.
Full
In
up.
an emergency, lights
Neutral.
will illuminate the aisle.
Full right.
The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss
Full
of
left.
cabin pressure, a panel
Neutral.
will open
Rudder.
and oxygen masks will appear.
Full right.
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull
Full
a mask
left.
toward you to start the flow of oxygen.
Neutral.
Oxygen will be flowing to the
Your
mask
turn.
even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the ends. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be
Right
used
now
as a
we would be
flotation
asking for
device.
taxi
Pull
clearance.
up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft, place your arms around the cushion and hold on to the straps located on the back. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted in the cabin or lavatories. Cabin lights will now be turned off. Reading light buttons are located above your seat. Thank you for your attention.
Cabin crew arm slides and cross check.
And because we don't have to get a taxi clearance, we will just continue on. Oh. These camera views are going to be my death.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Let's go find runway 27. I think it's behind us over here. Oh. Okay.
Hey guys, are we clear to close?
Yes.
Oh.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Oh, we're already taxiing away. She's just closing up. Sorry about that. We probably should have waited for her to close up. And, you know, if we had a jet bridge, we would be disconnecting the jet bridge. And then we would be on our way. Okay, let's hit the attend button. Make sure that everyone in the cabin is ready. We'll turn off the APU and the bleed. We'll get some of these other lights on. Strobe lights, landing lights, turn on the Christmas trees.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 1 2 6 VR 1 2 7 V2 1 3 1
V1 1 2 6 VR 1 2 7 V2 1 3 1 ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff. No blue.
Down to the line.
I think we're not quite no blue. We need one more action. On our list, we have takeoff configuration test. So we hit the test button. And now we have no blue. So we would get takeoff clearance now.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Let's take the runway. If I can get ourselves turned around here. We have our flex temp for noise abatement.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
PAX.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Ready.
Ready.
Takeoff. Man flex SRS runway auto thrust blue.
Check.
We backed off from Toga.
Thrust set.
Airspeed alive.
$100 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Flap 0.
Speed check. Flaps 0.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Autopilot on.
AP1.
Check.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
Auto throttle on. Okay, now we're going to be cleared to 10,000 feet. And we'll move the thrust levers into the climb position.
Below the line.
Barrel ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
Well, these folks are not going to get a chance to have the seatbelts off, I'm afraid. Just not enough time in this flight. Let's move the range out a bit. Two 992 on the pressure setting.
You have control.
I have control.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you are making a connection to another flight, please see the customer service agent meeting this flight or video monitors inside the terminal for connecting gate information. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin to secure it for landing. We'll be collecting all service items, newspapers, and any other items you wish to discard or may not be taking off the aircraft with you. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices. Stow these devices and all other carry-on items. Please use caution when opening overhead bins, as items may have shifted during our flight. Please stow your tray tables and return your seats to their upright position and check the security of your seatbelts. We will be landing shortly. Thank you.
top of descent is this little marker right here. So we're getting real close. 60 miles to go to destination. Might as well talk to the folks again.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, this is the captain speaking. We're going to begin our initial descent here momentarily. At this time, I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign back on, so please return to your seats and keep your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft has come to a stop at the gate and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. It's been our pleasure having you on board for today's flight, and we hope to see you back on a future flight again real soon. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Flyby coffee. Might as well have a sip of flyby coffee. That's not loading up. Interesting. Oh, there it goes. I think it just loaded. Yeah, there we go. The fly pad just loaded, which is called an electronic flight bag. Little tablet. Burbank to Santa Barbara. There's our temperature, our winds, flight time, little... And let's descend to 7,000 feet. .46 miles out. Because we never went above 10,000 feet, we were never able to break the speed limit of 250 knots airspeed. So right now we are doing 218 knots on the airspeed. Our ground speed is 235. So even though we are below the speed limit by ground standards, we're still booking along. Let's move the range in a little closer. 41 miles to go. Oh, did make a couple of mistakes. I never took the time to turn on the progressive wind shear system, or I didn't turn the transponder to the TARA mode. Yeah, should have done both of those things. When we pushed away from the gate. I'm going to arm the auto brakes for medium, and I will arm the spoilers so that they will automatically deploy when the wheels touch the ground. I'm planning a flaps 4 or a full flaps landing on a visual approach. We're approaching 7,000 feet. Let's bring it down to 5,000 feet. "36 miles to go."
I have control.
You have control.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Barrel ref.
2992. Set.
2992. Set. Minimum.
Set.
Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Approaching our target altitude. "31 miles to go." I'm going to initialize the landing system. And at this time, I'm going to see if both autopilots will engage. They may not both engage yet. Nope, not yet. Just one. One autopilot system is certainly enough. They are redundant. 22 miles. Let's bring in our range to the 10-mile arc. 19 miles to go. Let's reduce our airspeed to 190. And let's add our first staunch of flaps.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
"13 miles out, let's get down to 3,000 feet. Let's bring our speed to 170. Up. Come on, don't be finicky with me. Let's go flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Let's go 150 on the speed.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
145 on the speed. Five miles out. Let's go to 1,000 feet altitude.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Okay, disengage the autopilot.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Checked.
Didn't pick up the runway until quite late. And do a little Top Gun here to get us down. Be Johnny on the reversers when the wheels touch.
$1,000.
Checked. Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Continue.
Minimum
Sync rate.
100.
Sync rate.
40. 30. 20. Retard.
Retard.
5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. 70 knots.
Whoa! Once in a lot of runway there, was there? Okay. Let's get the APU fired up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely at the gate. This will be your indication it is safe to move about the cabin, gather your belongings, and disembark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and hope to see you again on a future flight.
Don't know why we're getting that cacophony of alarms. That's one way to avoid the alarms, is just keep the view outside for a while.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarm.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete. Up. Okay. Let's get the APU running. Get these lights turned off. Get the seatbelt sign turned off. And let's kill the engines. Well, finally we got the alarms turned off, but we had to turn off the whole airplane to make that happen. Anyway, let's go outside. Oh, we still haven't killed the airplane. Okay. Oh, we're on APU now. That's why. Okay. Well, let's turn off the APU.
Taxi light off. On.
Engines.
Off.
Seatbelts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
Secure the aircraft, please.
Okay.
Securing the aircraft checklist.
Adheres.
Off.
Oxygen.
Up.
Off.
APU bleed.
Off.
Emergency exit light.
Off.
Signs.
Off.
APU and battery.
Off.
Securing the aircraft checklist complete.
Well, folks, that's the end of our flight today, and hope to see you for another one. Have a great day.